I'm standing in front of Neighborhood Convenience in the Toronto bedroom community of Richmond Hill. Now, there's really nothing notable about this particular variety store, except for this turn of events. Until very recently, this shop was known as Menzies Convenience. However, Menzies Convenience was caught selling cigarettes to an underage youth. As a result, the store was banned from selling, storing, and delivering tobacco products for 6 months. The shop also had to endure a measure of public shaming, posting several signs stating the reason why the shop could no longer sell tobacco. Alas, that turned out to be a moot point. Without the ability to sell cigarettes, Menzies Convenience soon went out of business. Now, of course, it was wrong for the shop to sell cigarettes to minors. No doubt about that. And the law is the law. But the question arises, when it comes to tobacco sales in Ontario, why is there one set of rules for some individuals and a dramatically different set of rules for others? Case in point, while Government of Ontario inspectors will quash a typical mom-and-pop variety store for breaking any rule under the province's Smoke-Free Tobacco Act, a different set of standards apply on native reserves. On the reserve, every rule in the Smoke-Free Tobacco Act is broken with impunity, from the display of cigarettes to dispensing free samples to, yes, even selling contraband tobacco to minors. Yet smoke shops on the reserve get a free pass. So again, the question arises, why does the likes of the former Menzies Convenience receive a death sentence while the government turns a blind eye to wanton law breaking on native reserves? We shall endeavor to find out. Okay, now we're arriving at one of the nicer tobacco emporiums, and we're going to basically don our handy spy glasses, and we're going to get an inside look at how tobacco is sold on the reserve. For starters, tobacco products are openly displayed. Smoking inside the store is allowed.
Sure.
Free samples are there for the taking.
And this one is a full flavor.
Gifts are de rigueur, as are volume discounts, but most distressing of all, minors, the very people the tobacco laws are meant to protect, are some of the biggest customers in the contraband market. We asked an 18-year-old mystery shopper to try and purchase cigarettes from stores on the reserve. As you can see, he was not challenged to produce ID. We witnessed other young people enter the store and purchase cigarettes, also without being asked for proof of age. And hey folks, check out that price differential when it comes to cigarettes in Ontario. At your friendly neighborhood convenience store, you're looking at shelling out more than $80 for a carton of cigarettes. Meanwhile, on the reserve, you can get a carton of cigarettes, 200 smokes, for as little as $10. That's right, folks, $10.
Excuse me. Just wondering, I know some cartons are $15, $18, and $35. I mean, is there, I guess, any difference why they're priced differently?
They're all different because they're all made from different brands. They're all different cigarettes.
Oh, okay then. So it's different quality then?
Yeah,
or?
They're not all the same thing. They all taste different. They're all made from different places.
Okay then. And these in the plastic bags, these seem to be the cheapest. Are they as good a quality or?
There's nothing wrong with them. It's just that's just how much we can sell them at.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay then. All right. But are they quality controlled though, or?
Like we haven't had no complaints over there. With anything out here, it's not made by a government-controlled company.
Okay.
So like you can get one that's really good, the next batch can be not that great, but
Okay.
that's what you get when you don't pay for a company that controls everything.
Gotcha.
Well, these products are not only sold on reserves, in some cases, they're actually manufactured on the reserve as well, although these products do not adhere to tobacco industry manufacturing standards. The end result is there is a contraband tobacco business, and it's big business. In Ontario alone, it is estimated the provincial and federal governments lose anywhere between $1.1 billion to $2 billion in annual revenues due to unpaid taxes. And it's not the Boy Scouts running the contraband tobacco trade. The RCMP has identified more than 175 organized crime groups involved in the contraband tobacco business. And how does the industry feel about the glaring double standard in Ontario? We spoke to Dave Bryans, the head of the Ontario Convenience Stores Association, to get his thoughts. Dave, when it comes to tobacco in the province of Ontario, there is a big problem, it's a growing problem, and it's that of contraband. How big is this problem and who is it impacting?
Okay, well, first off, we've estimated over the last 5 years, and it hasn't changed much, that contraband represents somewhere between 30 and 35% of all cigarettes consumed in the province of Ontario. By far the biggest in Canada. We haven't seen this kind of consumption of an illegal product anywhere in the country. And who does it affect? Well, first it affects your community, because the RCMP have said there are criminal gangs, 150 different organized crime groups associated with delivering contraband and other goodies to your neighborhood. Secondly, it affects seniors' homes, high schools, because they're infiltrating the high schools and encouraging kids to buy cigarettes for less than $10 for a carton, or 200. And then lastly, it affects small business, because small business, we have been the purveyor for the government and tax collector of illegal tobacco taxes for the last 30 years, and there's no other channel left in Ontario. And when 30% of your business walks away, it hurts you when it comes to impulse sales or traffic generation in our stores.
But I guess the big issue when it comes to contraband, the way I see it, is the double standard. For example, one of your members, the corner convenience store, if he was caught selling tobacco to a minor, if he was even openly displaying tobacco beyond the dark wall, which they're required to use right now, can you tell me what kind of penalties he would face?
Sure. I mean, first off, if there is a mystery shopper, and keep in mind the government has 36 public health units, they're funded to about $30 million for legal tobacco control.
Okay.
So that is to target the convenience sector, go into the stores and see if any of our employees, students, or anyone included would make a mistake and sell to a minor on a mystery shop. If they did, they'd have fines of $365. If there was 2 charges in 5 years, the store would lose their right to sell tobacco. So
and that means the store's livelihood is
basically
over.
Going to close.
Right.
And so, yeah, the government has done a very good job at working with us or working within our channel to make sure that we follow all the rules as they drive by all the reserves. And there are 165 reserves in Ontario. This isn't as if it's a one-off. And there's hundreds of Aboriginal smoke shacks that are now building gas bars as well and avoiding tax. But nobody wants to go on the reserve. The 36 public health units do not go to the reserves, do not go on the reserves. As you've seen, it's the Wild West of the tobacco business.
Yes.
And therefore it's accessible to the citizens, but the government doesn't want to reserve.
So, Dave, if you were part of the provincial government in charge of the tobacco file, what would you do to counteract the contraband problem?
Well, the first thing I would do is make sure that any movement of tobacco is recorded. If it leaves reserve to reserve, is it getting there, or is it being diverted? So secondly, I'd give the OPP and local law enforcement more seizure rights and more money to investigate and get involved.
I'd be remiss if I didn't say that nothing is happening on the tobacco file, but it seems as though if contraband is the major problem in this province and other provinces, certainly the Ontario government is moving towards, under Bill 45, eradicating flavored tobacco, including menthol, which, I don't know, to me, Dave, that seems like we're going after the low-hanging fruit when there's real issues with contraband tobacco that exist. But can you tell us what the government has planned for Ontario smokers in the months and years to come?
So on Bill 45, it's sort of bundled in a whole bunch of areas, including menu labeling. But what they're saying is they're going to ban menthol it has been banned under the bill, but they're giving us up to 2 years to adjust. I'm not sure what the number up to means yet. I hope it is the full 2 years, because all you're going to do is send the 80,000 adult menthol smokers in Ontario to the reserves. Mm-hmm. So they're actually going to fuel contraband.
This is a very important point. The flavored tobacco ban isn't going to take into effect the native reserve smoke shacks selling flavored tobacco.
No, there are presently over 30 products being made on the reserve, menthol products, that are available today on the black market, and you can be sure there's going to be a whole lot more once this rule comes into effect.
And that will continue on.
There's nobody that has Bill 45 has nothing to do with Aboriginal reserves. So that's my disappointment.
So last question then, Dave, if you're doing a little crystal ball gazing, now that we know the problem and we know the extent of the problem, do you see anything ever happening in the months and years ahead to bring about a solution to this quandary in terms of contraband tobacco?
I see tiny steps. I don't see a vision of how to fix the problem we're getting deeper into. But there are ways to look at those tiny steps. We could actually change the behavior and help youth. If we're not going to fix contraband as quick as we all wish they would, then let's start protecting the young people in the province of Ontario by banning youth possession, consumption, purchasing. Allow us to educate. Allow parents to parent and allow teachers to teach, so that those kids understand that somewhere this isn't in, and it's illegal if you do it, and if you do it, you're going to pay a fine. And I think in time, we will have a healthier society.
Thank you so much, Dave.
Thanks very much.
Take care.
We reached out to Smoke Free Ontario and the Ministry of Finance to get them to comment on the situation. Unfortunately, both have declined to comment. So in the meantime, the double standard when it comes to tobacco sales in Ontario will continue. And sadly, the reason for the double standard would appear to be based on nothing more than race. For TheRebel.media, I'm David the Menzoid Menzies.